Well, that was a little bit of a hiccup. Let's try that again. I had this set up a second ago, and I have no idea what happened. So hopefully, people will be able to find this one. We'll give it just a minute to see who does or doesn't. But man, that was not ideal. I don't know what happened there. That was funky. That was very, very funky. All right. Hey, what's up, Trail? How's it going? So the other one I tried to start live and it wouldn't work for some reason. So I had to start this new one. So hopefully that's not. Oh, I. Hey, what's up, Trev? No, that would have been my luck though. Literally, as soon as I started, tones would drop. Luckily, I'm actually not up for call right now. So if tones do drop, it'll be a little loud, but I shouldn't have to go anywhere unless it's a pretty serious call. So we just got back from a call about an hour ago. And I was like, man, I've not done a live feed for a while. So here we are. I hope we're all doing good. Trail, mediocre. Trevor, how you guys doing? Doing all right? But I kind of have a fun subject to talk about today. So I really want some input. But I'm really been torn on what to buy. Thank you, Trail. I'm so stoked on 500. It's so cool to see the channel growing, and we're just having a blast. And I mean, if you do live in the U.S., do be sure to get onto that and comment so I can get you entered into that drawing to win the mud guard. But I am probably going to start making those the stickers because I've been having a lot of people. I've been good going through. Sorry to hear that, Trevor. Man, if you need to, man, give me a call or text me after this live feed, and I can talk to you. Okay. But no, I've been wanting to make more of those little stickers for the top tubes. A lot of you, if you watch my bike videos, you'll see I have that little Chicken Cindy's logo on my top tube. And I'm wanting to make a bunch of those and send them out. And I actually printed out, I think, 8 to 10 of them as of right now, all in white. I'm wanting to make black ones as well because I know people have different colored frames and stuff. So I want to get that going. But so far, pretty decent shift. Nothing too crazy. But so what I'm running into issues with is the bike build I'm doing. So the full suspension build. The video Thursday that's going to be uploaded is all of the drivetrain. So if you have me on Instagram, you saw the video or the pictures of all the drivetrain I picked, which was the Microshift Advent X with a Shimano Deore up front. But I need a fork. And I had a lot more people vote so far on Fox compared to RockShox. I'm pulling up the Instagram right now to check and see where the votes are. I've never had a Fox suspension though. I've always done RockShox. So have any of you ever used Fox suspension and what did you think about it? So that's kind of one of the main things I want to talk about today is just kind of what suspension I should do or use or not. But yeah, so as of right now, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's 12 for Fox and 7 for RockShox. I really thought RockShox would be winning right now. What frame? So the frame I'm going to be building up is a Jamis Fault Line. It is a trail styled bike. So the rear is 115 millimeters and the front's supposed to be about 130. So I've been finding some forks around 130, also 140, but I'm trying to stick to 130 because that's what came on the frame originally. But some of you know I bought this frame off of a single track jack because I'm switching all the parts to that bike onto a hardtail that he's getting. So Colin Beck, I have a Fox on 3 out of my 4 bikes, and I highly recommend. All right, Colin, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of Foxes do you have? Because I'm torn between, it seems like the factories and the Performance Elites are the same minus the Kashima, but I've also been kind of looking at the lower ones besides that. But I did find a factory, a 2020 factory that I've been talking to a guy about on Facebook, and he's selling it for a very reasonable price. And I'm really leaning towards that factory. So I just can't make up my mind though. I mean, I got a new bike, but I don't know how to build it. Trevor, let me know, man. You live like a 45 minutes from me. I'll help you. I'll help you set that up, Trevor. But Colin, since you have Fox, I mean, it seems like it wasn't cheap. Most bikes aren't cheap, man. I know my wife doesn't like me because of the bikes I have, but that's besides the point. But I'm looking at a Fox 34, and I think the 34 stanchions will be perfect for what I'm wanting to use it for. But I've also, gosh, it's so weird because this is the part. So this bike build I'm going to be doing, which this is kind of a hint on what to expect on Thursday. But the bike build is actually going to be called Bang for Buck Bike Build. So a lot of B's there. But what this build is going to be is not the cheapest parts, as in like super budget parts. and I'm not necessarily wanting to do top of the line parts. So I'm wanting to do right in the middle. And the last live feed, this is something we touched on. And the cool thing is now that this is actually in the works and this is what I'm doing. So I feel like if I do a Fox factory, it kind of goes against the bang for buck, if that makes sense. So I'm really torn on what to do. But if I can find like the Fox factory for a good price, does that count as bang for buck? It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of a weird loophole in my opinion. So what do you guys think about that? If I find decent parts, decently priced used, can I still use those? Because originally I was trying to keep everything new. That's what my game plan was. So Manitou gets you great bang for buck. Yes. So I've been looking at a Manitou machete, and it comes at 120 millimeters. So it's a school night. So I got. All right. See you, Trail Action. You have a good night. Thanks for stopping in for a little bit, though. Take care. But no, I priced a couple different Manitou forks, and I like them, but I can't seem to find one in the 130 millimeter, and I want to stick it with that just to keep that right geometry for the frame. So I would recommend either the Performance Leader, the factory, that offers the perfect amount of adjustment, in my opinion. The Kashima on the factory one is basically just a look thing, so it's really up to you. See, that's what I was noticing. I was noticing that it seems like they're pretty well identical besides the Kashima. And the rear fork on that full suspension that I'm building is actually a RockShox, so it's black. And I don't know if I'd like the Kashima with the black shock in the back. I feel like I'd have to get a Kashima rear shock as well, just for the look of it. So, nerd. Hey, what's up, Brian? So Brian's actually my partner. He's chilling in the back right now. Brian, you should come out here and join us. We're talking about mountain bikes. We'll see if he actually joins or not. Is it one of those I double dog dare you, Brian? He actually rides too. He's got a really cool Trek. It's nice. It's this really cool, like a seafoam green. I'm not sure what color it is necessarily, but it's a very, very nice looking Trek. That's funny though. He's my partner. But no, so that's where I'm on the fork. I'm really torn on what to do. But I really like the idea of a Fox because I've never used a Fox. So are there anything that you guys are wanting to see specifically on this bike? So the thought process for me over this build is what I'm going to do is I'm wanting to do the unboxings and everything separately. So I'm wanting to do the unboxings for the actual parts. So like I said, this Thursday will be the unboxing for the drivetrain. So that's already uploaded and ready to go. And then I have the stem, the grips. The bike's done. The bike's done besides the fork. That's where I'm at. But of course, I don't want to do it all in one video because I want to kind of get into the details of the actual parts themselves and try to review them and unbox them. But as I do it, I'm wanting to kind of put the parts on the bike. But then when everything's said and done, I would like to do a actual like a build video of doing the bike, but that's not till the very end. So I'm kind of torn on what I want to do there. And of course, in between, I'm going to do some ride videos and stuff too, because I don't want to just do an actual bike build for 6 weeks. I feel like that'd be kind of boring on the channel. So what do you guys think about that? Is there something specific you'd like to see or would rather me do for that? And also, when you work EMS, you drink coffee at 9 o'clock at night, and it's totally acceptable. Fun fact. But I really am leaning towards the Fox forks. But it's, like I said, since I'm wanting to do a bang for buck build, I'm really kind of concerned over what's acceptable or not acceptable because I don't want to go against my own build. But I don't know. The frame itself should be in this week, the actual the frame, because the frame's getting powder coated right now. And I'm so stoked for the color of the actual powder coating. I think it's going to look awesome. Of course, I won't know until I get it. But I found a little shop about 15 miles from where I live who does powder coating, and they've done bikes before and things like that. So I took it over to them and looked at all their paints and everything like that, the different ones that they do, and it should take about 2 weeks. So I'm very excited to get that back in. It should be done Friday-ish is what I'm thinking. So I'm very excited for that. But we'll see how that goes. Ideally. But like I said, the RockShox sound really good to me, but I've never used one before. Have any of you ever ridden Marzoki? I was looking at the Marzoki Bomber Z2, which is $520 brand new, I believe. Hey, that's hysterical. Colin, that's literally what I was just talking about. That's so funny. So what'd you say? Is the Marzoki forks, which is owned by Fox. Yeah, they're the same overall as the forks. Really good price wise. So I actually was super bummed because I was about to pull the trigger on a Marzoki. I think use or barely use premium parts still count as bang for buck. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Mediocre. But I had a Marzocchi. I'm not sure how to say it, so sorry about that. But I had one of those in my carts on Jensen USA. I try to figure out where I can buy from online and stuff, and Jensen had one in stock, and that was the problem. They had one in stock, and the next day I was going to order it, and it was sold. So I was pretty bummed about that. But it was the Bomber Z2, which is the cheaper one compared to the Z1. But I was really bummed because if you've seen any of my older videos, you saw that I've designed a Slick graphic before, and I was on Slick again trying to design some graphics, and I was able to make one for the Bomber Z2, and I had one designed, and I really liked it. So I was going to pull the trigger on the all black Z2. So appreciate it, Trevor. Ha, I mix. Yeah. Oh no, you're good. I get it. But no, the Manitou is still because I bought a Manitou and that's what I put on my dirt jumper mediocre. I actually have that on my dirt jumper right now, and it's a really solid fork. I got it in 100 millimeters of travel, and I pretty much air it up to like 150-ish psi for the dirt jumper. So it kind of gives a little bit when I hit pretty hard. But also, fun fact, I know a lot of people have actually watched for the Huffy build. I got quite a bit of feedback from the Huffy build that I did for the Huffy Scout, and I actually have purchased a new dirt jumper frame, and it should be shipped off should have been shipped off today or tomorrow, and it's coming from Canada. But I'm going to be switching all my parts from the Huffy Scout to the actual new dirt jumper frame I got. But I found a brand in Canada called Evolve, so EVOLVE. And I was just doing some research, and I guess they're up by British Columbia, that area up there in Canada. But they had some of these dirt jumpers in stock. So I'm super stoked to get this dirt jumper. And I'm pretty much just going to swap all the parts from the Walmart budget build that I did onto this actual dirt jumper. And I'm super stoked for that build. I think it's going to be fun. So we'll have that coming up soon. And the dirt jumps and all that fun stuff over at Griffin Bike Park are starting to open again because it's finally getting dry around here. So I know I'm going to be doing that here soon, and I'm super excited over that. But I'm interested to see this new frame. When I've been riding the Huffy, I've put quite a bit of miles on it now around the pump tracks and things. But I made up my mind it was just a little too small for me. I'm about 5'10". I would say if you're 5'8" or below, the frame will be about perfect for you. But I definitely think in like just general sizing, the frame's it's a very small frame. But that was a very fun build. I've had a couple people asking me about doing another budget build like that. And originally, that wasn't what I wanted this channel to be necessarily, to be a budget build channel. There's a lot of people that do budget builds that are terrific. I know Wolf Tick is one, and he does awesome videos. And then also, of course, Kev Central does a ton of different ones. Hey, Colin, I see your name down here, but I don't see a message attached to it. I'm not sure if you did try to send something or not for that last one. So just a heads up on that. But it's one of those things where like, I like doing random things that does not seem like a lot of. So for instance, I saw the Huffy Scout, and the first thing I did was went and Googled it and, looked up on YouTube, did different videos. And I only saw one other person that did videos on the Huffy Scout. And I see, yes, the dirt jumper I got from Evolve Colin looks awesome. It's that raw steel, so you can see the welds, but the welds almost look like that oil slick look. They're super nice and polished. And the price for the frames are crazy cheap, in my opinion, for what they are. So for instance, I was looking at a Cro-Mag, and it was like $700. And I was able to get this Evolve in US dollars for like 430. I mean, you're talking almost a $300 difference. So which one? Going to give you a shout out on my YouTube. Oh, second one. What's a good fork for a trail bike? Because I got a Trek mountain bike. I like to go on the trails with it. Honestly, Trevor, send me a picture of your bike on Facebook or Instagram, and let me look at it first, because there's a couple things I would need to find out. I need to find out if it's tapered head tube. I need to find out if it's just a straight steer head tube. straight steer tube. But honestly, some of the best forks, in my opinion, if you're looking for like budget bang for buck, some of the Manitou ones, like a Manitou Mark is only a little over $200, and that's a terrific fork. Suntour Epixon as well, again, like a $200 air fork, terrific for the price. And sometimes you can get pretty lucky and find X Fusions. I used to have an X Fusion McQueen. That's a little bit beefier of a fork, but I was able to get one of those. I had one of those on my full suspension bikes a couple years ago. It was on my Fazari. I had a Fazari. Loved the Fazari. Right now, the wait time for a Fazari is nuts, though. When I ordered my Fazari, like I said, 3 years ago, I only had to wait like it's like 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and now the wait time's like a couple months. It's crazy. And it's just because of COVID and the backlog and all that stuff. So, and they're just becoming popular, which Fazari make terrific bikes in my opinion. So, but no, yeah, Colin, I'm super, super stoked to get that Evolve frame. I'm really hoping it comes in this week. So, gotta drop. Have a great night. Hey, thanks again, Mediocre Man. Take care. I really appreciate it. But no, so yeah, Trevor, like I said, man, just shoot me the picture of your bike, what you have on either Facebook or Instagram, whichever one you want to do, and I can take a look at that and see. I'll actually be in Mattoon tomorrow, so just let me know if you're around, and I can take a look at that too. Then, so. But fun fact about me, guys, I'm hoping to have videos, no problem. But right now, I'm potentially in the process of changing jobs. So Sierra, what's up? Hey, I could actually drop by this time. It's good. I'm glad to see you. Your name change still throws me off. I'm still so used to seeing a different one. But no, so we've been kind of talking about the next video series that I'm doing, and the series is going to be titled "Bang for Buck Bike Build." So basically, the bang for buck bike build is going to be the best way, in my opinion, on what to spend your money on in a bike build to get a very good trail bike that's not budget in the sense of it's not, bottom line or, lowest of the tier parts, but it's also not going to be necessarily top of the line, super crazy expensive parts. I'm wanting to hit like right in the middle of like just that really nice entry point of getting you a terrific bike that you could take to Bentonville if you live in America, or just one that you could take to your local trails as well, just because. So that's what we're working on. And we were talking a little bit about just the different forks for the different price frames, but I'd like to stick between like $400 to $700 for this fork. And that's a pretty wide ballpark. But I think if you keep your eyes open and on Facebook Marketplace, you can snag some pretty good forks. So for instance, what was it? Got to go back to work. Oh, see you, Trevor. You have a good night, man. Take care. But no, I was able to grab the RockShox that's currently on my NS Eccentric off of Facebook Marketplace for like $350. It was a new takeoff, and I mean, I thought that was a terrific deal for that fork. And if you've seen some of my, which I know most of you have seen my other videos, I was able to upgrade the internals on that fork, no problem with the Pike parts. And I mean, it's pretty much a Pike Ultimate. It's one step below the Pike Ultimate technically because I didn't get the one. Sounds good, Trevor. I should, if I don't answer, I might be on a 911 call, man. But no, you know how to get hold of me. But so I got pretty lucky with that fork. But I'm kind of debating on if I want to do RockShox like I usually do, or if I want to switch to a Fox. But then we're kind of also talking about Marzokis and then potentially a Manitou as well. I mean, there's a lot of forks to grab, but I guess it's one of those things, is the price savings. So here's a good question for the ones of you that are watching right now, and I just want your honest opinion. Is price savings worth not getting a product with a name on it? So let's talk specifically about IXF cranks. I think this is a terrific point to talk about. So IXF crank sets are roughly $60, right? You get a bottom bracket with external bearings, and then you get a decent crank set too. I mean, I think IXF cranks are a terrific bang for buck. Now, I've heard horror stories of people with IXF crank sets, and I've heard people who have rode them for 2 years. But that sounds like something that'll be hearing a bunch of views. My bike has a RockShox Recon. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So like the IXF crank sets, okay? Terrific bang for buck crank set. But whenever you pay $60 for a IXF crank set, they have a Suntour Axon. Is that what it's? Zeron, I'm sorry. Suntour Zeron. It's Zeron crank set. Suntour. It's got a chain ring, it's got a external bottom bracket that's included, and it's $80. So you have a $60 IXF crankset, and then you have a $80 Suntour crankset. Since Suntour's more known than IXF, is it worth the extra $20, or would you prefer just to save the $20 and get IXF cranksets? And then for me, when I look at it, for instance, I'm like, okay, well, I'm already up to 80 if I do the Suntour. If I spend an extra 30, I could get Shimano Deore. And it's kind of like you get to that point to where, what parts is it okay to not spend money on? And what parts is it okay to, want to spend money on? So it's interesting to think about. It's just like what's the justification for the different prices besides the amount of money that's in your wallet? At the end of the day, never put yourself in debt or something silly for a bike part. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to make sure that the things you're buying are within your means. That's the biggest thing. And don't ever, feel ashamed for having to buy except Fractured. I was hoping I was going to see you this evening, Fractured. It's good to catch you, man. But it's just so weird to think about, though. It's like, what's worth the bang for buck? I think, shock suspension is a great thing to spend money on. Pedals, maybe not so much. Grips, maybe not so much. Handlebar stems, it's kind of like, but contact parts, then you get into that. It's like, well, are contact parts worth the extra money? Or is it just because you're wanting to bling your bike out so you can feel like you're playing Need for Speed Underground when you're in high school? Or is that just me? And I like making my bike look cool. Shout out to anyone who played Need for Speed Underground when it first came out on PlayStation 2. I'm that guy. But no. So I know we're having some different people come on, but we're debating over Fox versus RockShox for a front fork. And then we're debating on top of the line. For me, I think it would depend on the bike and how hard I would. Ooh, it's a very good point too, Colin. For instance, if you're an entry rider or if you just now getting into mountain biking, why in the world would you not just buy a Suntour Epixon for $200 if you're trying to get a decent bike? It's a very fair point. So for me, I'm going in my 4th season of riding now. But the way I think about it is the more commonly no parts have probably gone through more testing than the cheaper stuff. Also, NS Underground was amazing. Yes, it was. Gosh, I still own that one and the second one on my PlayStation 2. Huge gamer. I'm sure if you've seen some of my videos, you'll see in my background at my actual house, not at work. I just got Legend of Zelda stuff and Ghostbusters, and I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that stuff. But no, yeah, I would like to imagine too. It's so like whenever you compare like the Fukers, the pedals, the Fukers compared to the Chesters, a lot of people talk about the hole, or they're just China ripoffs of Chester, and they just got the mold for cheap. So they should be okay. But I would imagine that they're using cheaper parts, right? And I know like Seth's Bike Hacks, for instance, or Burn Peak Express now, he did the review where he had one Fuker and one Chester, and they both seem to be fine. But it's like, do you want to support Race Face though, or do you want to support Fuker? And it's just like, it's interesting. And of course, it's going to be different for everybody. I can't tell you one way or the other, and it's not my place to tell you one way or the other. You need to make that decision for yourself. And I have my own opinions, and they don't matter. But what does matter is, again, just making sure you get something that you're going to be happy with. And that's just an interesting fact. Whenever you buy a bike, if you're looking into getting a new bike, make sure you like the bike, because you're not going to want to pull something out of your garage or out of your house that you don't want to look at. You want to appreciate your bike. And if you're going to be riding it, make sure you enjoy it. That's so fun. So, and there's a ton of videos over how to spray paint bikes if you really want to get nasty into your bike and make it the way you want to look it. So make it look. So keep that in mind too. But so the bang for buck bike build, which will be coming out on Thursday, I have pretty well every part for the bike build. I'm wanting to space it out, but I don't have the fork. Scenarios like that, I'd rather support the person who originally created the product, even if it's more expensive. Yep, it's a very fair point too, and it's how it goes. And I wonder what an interesting question, which I probably won't be able to ever find out, is whenever the Fukers released, did the Chesters actually take a hit? Did Raceface actually lose money? Or have they seen like a decrease in sales over their pedals? Just kind of something random to think about. And I wonder, maybe they're just such a big company, because You know, Fuker may only have pedals. I'm not sure what else they carry, but Raceface, you know, they have stems, bars, cranks. You know, they have Raceface has so much stuff. That wheels. I've always wondered that too. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair question to ask, and maybe Fuker's not doing anything to the Raceface's overhead. Maybe right now with COVID going on, I think every bike company's ahead right now. They can't keep anything in stock, so maybe they're just laughing at the Fuker brand and don't even care. Same thing with IXF cranksets. I race for our city on the mountain biking team. I need to read these out loud. Sorry, I know people who rewatch this. So, Colin, I race varsity on the mountain biking team at my school. So I have a really high end race bike because I really push it. But if you aren't doing intense races, you don't really need high end stuff. No, you really don't. And I agree with that. And the most expensive bike I had, which for some people this is way out of reach. I've had a almost $7,000 mountain bike. I had my Canyon Strive, and I did a lot to my Canyon Strive, and I loved that mountain bike. It had a untimely ending by flying off of my roof rack. That's on YouTube as well, over having bike insurance. Bike insurance is a thing, and bike insurance gave me a pretty nice check because of my bike flying off my roof rack. But that was a crazy scenario, and I don't wish that on anybody. And wow. Yeah, right. Yeah. I've been out of high school now for 12 years, so I'm going to be 31 this year. I don't know if that makes me old or not. I don't feel old. Some days I feel old. 31's a good age. I'm feeling good. Like I'm convincing myself that I feel good. But no, I would have loved to have something like that. It's my first year. Of course it is. Must be nice. Like twice your age. But I see all the videos of like the older mountain bikers, and I have a lot of high hopes for myself. I'm like, maybe I'm doing the right thing because I see some like 50-year-olds who can outride me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be that guy in 20 years. 42 kid at fractured. That's awesome, man. Maybe we should get together and have a birthday party. I'll fly to you since my birthday's in July. We'll meet somewhere in the middle and have a nice bike ride. Goodness. Oh, that's so funny. But no, I used to skateboard really heavily. I was a huge skateboarder. I was never super super good. I could kick flip, tray flip, that kind of stuff. Never got into nollie tricks. I could kind of nollie heel flip and nollie kick flip, but they weren't very good, and I wasn't gonna like do them down anything. But I broke my leg 3 years ago on a bike, and I actually have 3 pins in my tibia plateau broke down the middle, and I have 3 pins in it. So I still skateboard a little bit, but I'm gonna buy an e-bike. And fracture goes. Since I was 5, and I'm saying, dang, Colin, you probably are a mean machine on a bike. You're gonna have to have someone like be ahead of you on an e-bike so you can get practice and training. But ever since I've had the 3 pins in my leg, I just can't do high impact anymore. So I can still like ollie and do that kind of stuff on my skateboard. I can still do my tricks, but like for instance, if I do a tray flip on the ground, it kind of hurts now to land on it just because where my pins are in my leg and the way it shudders, it doesn't feel the best. And that's why I kind of switched to biking, because it's low impact because it's just your legs revolving. And then you have the suspension to help with drops and stuff. So that's really, really nice. My wife just texted me. Sorry. But so what's going on here? It's my first year, 42 in June. I've been racing since I was 5 and I'm 17. Gosh, that's so cool, Colin. I wish I would have started biking at a younger age, but I didn't even know we had the kind of stuff around me that we have. I know I post a lot of Griffin Bike Park videos, and that's because Griffin's only about an hour from me. So I love going to Griffin. It is so stinking cool. Griffin's an amazing park. Fractured. Yeah. I think e-bikes have a place. I think e-bikes are there's I've never been on one. I've never rode on one. I've seen many, many e-bikes, and I think there's a place for it. Like for instance, if my dad was to buy an e-bike to be able to go riding with me, I would love that. I think that would be so cool. But it is what it is, and some people like them and some people don't. But I think e-bikes are pretty tight. But so I'm gonna do something kind of fun real quick because I got a few people watching. But all right, so I know a lot of you know that I am powder coating this bike that I'm making, that I'm gonna be building up for the channel, my new full suspension. What color do you think I'm going to be painting it or getting it powder coated? What color do you think? And maybe if one of you can guess it, I might get you guys a prize or something. That'd be kind of cool. I started with BMX to get my technique down, and now I ride mountain bikes. E-bikes are crazy fun though. E-bikes are so stinking funny. Purple. Toby, get out of here. You're not allowed in here, Toby. Oh, goodness. Hey, if you guys happen to watch my Texas video, Toby's the guy that he was the one that was doing the wheelies and stuff. He's a good biker. He's fun to bike with. He's a young pup. So Toby thinks purple. Okay, bye. No. Oh goodness, Toby, when are we gonna ride together, man? I need to get over there with you. I know it's been kind of cruddy weather again here, so we can't ride anytime soon. But maybe pink. Honestly, Sierra. All right, so it's not pink, but I actually was really debating on pink just because. I was really debating on pink. That was so funny. I was having that conversation with my wife, and I was like, "What if I did like a matte pink?" Because you just don't see that, and I wanted to be unique. That's my favorite part. Come pick me up and I'll ride. That's true, Toby. I felt bad because last week I went on a ride and I didn't even think about getting a hold of you. I was just wanting to go to get some footage and stuff. I got a really cool video that I'm working on for Griffin. It's basically called, it's a like Griffin, your first time at Griffin Bike Park. And it's me doing just all the green trails and trying to tell those. Colin says gunmetal gray. Dude, pink is one of the most underrated colors ever. Every one of my bike has purple. I love purple. But it's not purple this time. That was a good guess, Toby. Gunmetal gray. I had a couple bikes in gunmetal gray, and I love that color. It looks so good. And the cool thing about gunmetal gray is a lot of like any components will go with that color. So my DJ is pink. Manly is that's fractured because you are manly. We could put you on a pink bike and you'll be fine. I get put up like on a pink bike, and people will be questioning me a lot. I have to show pictures of my daughter and my beautiful wife. But man, so speaking of my beautiful wife, it seems as though I had a lot of good reviews back from her doing my fork change. I did. If any of you have not watched my fork change video with my wife, it's my wife putting on my Manitou Marcor fork for my dirt jumper frame, and it was hysterical. I loved that video. So my question is, what should she do next on this bike build? I think we could get her to do something. I don't know what. So we've done a fork change. And in my opinion, that's pretty intense. You know, if you're a new mountain biker, you're not just going to throw a fork on a bike because you can. So that was really fun. So she knows what she's doing now. That was good. But what do you think we should have her put on? I don't want her to build a whole bike, but we can do something. So give me some ideas, please, in the comments over what we should have her do, because we need to get my wife on here more. It's funny, but she is about to pop. Baby's due in a month. So she may not be able to get around as quickly as she has been. Oh man, she's such a good sport. Anytime I can get her on the channel, I love it. She has fun with it too. So I'm trying to repaint my full suspension black, white, and pink. It was amazing. Maybe something drivetrain. Okay. Maybe okay, well we got 2 for drivetrain now. So maybe that's what we should do. And that is, so when we get if anyone is interested in a good no, no. All right. The movie Rubber. For the love of all that is holy, do not watch that movie. It is atrocious. Toby, why would you even bring that up? We went to Texas and we were frozen in our Airbnb because of all the ice. We watched Rubber. It's a movie about a tire that has telekinetic powers and goes on a killing spree. I know it sounds good, like it's terrible. Don't watch it. But I think it'd be fun to have Marley, my wonderful wife, do the drivetrain. That would be good. But when I get the actual frame back, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is put it back together because I had to knock out all the bearings. I had to take out the rear suspension, and I'll have to knock out the head cups because I left those in there for the painting. So I'll have to knock that out and put in the new head cups. And there's a bit I'm gonna have to do to get it ready to go. But like I said, it's pretty much ready to go besides the front fork. And Colin's really got me interested in doing Fox. I'd like to do Fox. The freeze, snow apocalypse soaked up here. Yeah. I cannot believe out of all the weekends that I would have went to Texas to go on a bike ride, it snowed and iced. Like the mountain bike gods were not happy with us that weekend. That's for sure. Man, I'm just glad it's finally back to normal for you guys. I know it was a couple weeks that were really, really rough. I think everything's pretty much back to normal, isn't it, Sierra? I think so. I forgot you live in Texas. I'm pretty sure that's what you said. That ranch was awesome, Toby. Gosh, it was Revile Pink Peak Ranch. That's been that I was 3. So it's been just a little bit, huh? But we were able to ride over, yeah, everything's normal now. Good. Okay, good. Good, good, good. But we rode at the Reval Pink Ranch, and it was some of the best riding I've ever experienced. It was so fun, and I'm pretty sure he was the owner, and we were talking to him a little bit, and he was awesome. He was so nice to us, and I know we're talking about flying out there again here in a couple months. We want to fly this time because that drive was not fun. We did the drive, and it was supposed to be about a 14-hour drive, and the first drive took us 18 hours, and the second one was 16 hours, and because of the snow and everything that was coming. But getting out of Texas on the way home was terrible. There was so much ice just everywhere. Gosh, it was rough. It was terrible, Toby. You better be glad you can't drive. He's too young. But yeah, it was a rough one. But we made it home safe, and that's all that matters. So it was a good time. Actually, we should have took some videos of the bikes when we got back. The bikes were covered in ice. So I had two bikes on my roof mount on my I have a Buick Enclave, so an SUV. I think it's an SUV is what you'd call it. Come see me in the ER. Carson, you can't be talking when you're working, man. And by the way, I saw you've been riding. When we gonna ride, man? I don't like going to Sarah Bush. That's a far drive for us, but we have to go there every now and then. I think the last time I went was the last time I saw you, actually, Carson. So hope you're doing good though, man. 2 hours to clean my bike. Yeah, gosh, it was rough, but there was like a half inch of ice on our bikes because we were driving and it was snowing and freezing. It was terrible. But I ended up taking my bike apart and putting it in my bathtub because when I got home, we had nothing but snow and ice in Illinois still as well. So I was washing my bike in the bathtub. Hey, chasing Grace. Speaking of, that's my beautiful wife, and she's on now. So, Marley, we'll talk to you about it real quick since you're on. So, what we're talking about how you did the fork change on my bike, and I do think you enjoyed it. I do really think you did just a little bit. Okay, I did the same. Trying to go for a ride this week. Still snow and ice here. Only oh gosh, -5 degrees Celsius. Whew, can't take this heat. So chasing Grace. Oh yeah. So we're trying to figure out with the new bike build I'm doing, the bang for buck budget bike build. I stammered. What was it called? Bang for buck bike build. That's it. That's a mouthful. But we're trying to figure out what we're going to have you do on that bike build, and we're thinking drivetrain. How's that sound to you? Because when I asked, we had two back to back that said drivetrain. As I don't want you to do the fork again. So what do you think about that, chasing Grace? What do you think? Does it sound good to you? We'll wait for her response and see what she says, unless she's already gotten off, because my lovely wife supports me. Like, she's actually, in all fairness, she probably doesn't know what a drivetrain is. Do you know what a drivetrain is, Marley? It's the thing I just videoed. Oh, I mean, I don't even know what that means. I think she can do it. With someone like me to walk you through it, you could do anything on a bike. You'll be fine. I mean, worst case scenario, the bike breaks, right? Oh, goodness gracious. That's awesome. Also, we've gotten to play the Send It board game a couple times now. You called that one. So we've gotten to play the Send It board game a couple times, which if you watch Sid and Mackie, that's their board game that they've done. And I was able to do the Kickstarter, and I really want to support them, so that's why I did the Kickstarter. But my wife and I have played that game now, and it's pretty cool. It has a D20, so any of you nerds out there like me who like D20s, it's pretty fun. Anytime a board game has a D20, in my opinion, it's good. So just for like my background, Catan, that kind of stuff. I'm a really big into Magic the Gathering. So fun, again, nerd fact there about me. Love Magic the Gathering. Been playing that since 5th grade, and I just have a ball playing Magic the Gathering. It's so fun for me. But I was really impressed with the Send It board game. I thought they did a really good job with implementing kind of like a level up system with your individual bike riders, but also at the same time making it fun for someone like, for instance, Chasing Grace, who's my beautiful wife, to be able to play and not really have to understand a bunch about mountain biking to be able to play. So whenever that does release, it's a little expensive. It's about $75. I think it's $75. Don't quote me on that price 100%. But it's cool. And at the end of the day, if you want to support people that create content such as them, I think it's worth the price. You're going to help support them. You're going to give them, a little bit probably in their pocket too for making the board game and the testing and all that stuff. but I really enjoyed it. So I thought that was cool. So I see we've probably had a couple people come on and off that haven't been on and heard the whole conversation. So the original point of this video, sorry if you're still on here, you've already heard this, but the original point of this video was to discuss what fork I should be doing for my actual squish, my new full suspension build that I'm doing for the channel. So I'm doing a trail bike style, and it's got 115 in the back, and it's going to have 130 in the front. But I've been looking at a couple different Fox forks, Fox front suspension forks, and some RockShox. But we were talking about Marzoki, and we were also talking about some Manitous. So anybody that has some experience with the different forks, what's your opinion? As of right now, I typically always run RockShox, but I'm kind of leaning towards a Fox just to try it. So any opinions? Anything over that? Experiences, good, bad? I would love some input. So, but I also really like expanding my knowledge on bikes. So that's one of the things why I'm really interested in getting a Fox, just because I've never really had a Fox fork, so it'll be fun for me to learn. What did Chasing Grace say? I kicked his booty. Just kidding. I did with butt. It was neck and neck. It was an awesome and unique game. I can't wait to play it again. It was fun. And we will be doing a video review over that. I'm hoping I can get her on board to join me for that one too. But with her being pregnant and our having a 2-year-old daughter, sometimes it's hard to get her to join me on videos because we're kind of tag teaming on the beautiful daughter on trying to get her taken care of. So sometimes it's a hard job. Sometimes it's an easy job. It depends. I have Fox front and back and love them. Okay. Okay. So that's where I'm at Sierra too, since I've only had RockShox. Toby, I forgot you have Fox on your bikes. I should have rode your bike real quick. I've heard Fox is more, what's the word? Supple. Is that a good word for Fox? I've heard Fox is more supple. I've heard people say that once you ride Fox, you won't want to go back as well. So I don't know what that means or doesn't mean because I've never rode one. But like I said, I have the Manitou and I love my Manitou. I have RockShox. I've always enjoyed RockShox. But I'm wanting to get a little bit more expensive than like the Manitou Mark Wars and the RockShox, not RockShox, sorry, Suntours, that kind of thing. I have no clue what that means. Well, maybe we'll have to Google it and we'll figure it out, Toby, together. Yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, cool, Colin. So that's good to know. But so have you, Colin, this might be a good one for you, man. Did you like used to do RockShox, or just since you buy higher end bikes, they typically come with the Fox factories and stuff, so it's not really mattered? Because it does seem as though when you get to the higher end bikes, like you don't typically see RockShox Ultimates or anything like that on it. You typically will see the Fox factories. So now when it comes to the off-road truck side of things, Fox is amazing if that helps. You know, I was talking to, I believe it's On One Wheel, very, very awesome guy. He jumps on stuff every now and then with me on like the live feeds and stuff, and it's always good to see him. But he does a lot of ATVs, like racing and stuff like that. And that's what he said as well. So I mean, Fox definitely has a great name. I mean, they know what they're doing. So you can't complain them over that at all. I mean, they have terrific products. So I think I said this before. Only experience with Fox was the Fox 40, super good downhill fork. Other one was RockShox Lyric, and now RockShox GR, a good one too. All of them are good. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking whatever I can find best price wise is the one I'm going to go with, you know. But I just want to make sure that, you know, the things that I'm doing on this channel, like usual, I just want to make sure that the people that watch it are enjoying what I'm doing. So I really like to get your feedback. And that's why I like to do these live feeds and kind of talk to different people who can jump on and can't jump on. So I definitely appreciate all the feedback. So, but I'm really kind of bummed over the mud guards and not being able to ship them off out of sea or across the sea. I don't want them to get lost and for someone to not be able to get a drawing prize, you know. So that's why I did that decision. But what did you guys think about those? Do you think they're pretty cool looking? You know, would you change the design at all? I really like that chicken a lot. I think it's a funny looking chicken. I think it kind of describes this channel in a nutshell. It's there, you know, we have a channel. It's fun. There's not a lot to it, just doing mountain biking stuff. So I love the simplicity of the chicken, of just that like little stick figure one. And I don't know. I was pretty stoked with the way they turned out. And Marley has actually priced some iron-ons. So she does a lot of the cricket work and stuff. But she's priced some iron-ons that we can send that image to and get them sent back to us to put on T-shirts and stuff like that. So if I don't run, I'd really like to buy one. Okay, I love the chicken, Cindy Findy. That just rolls off the tongue. It's a chicken Cindy Fendi. Gosh, that cracks me up. That's so funny. They look good. I like them. I think there's something really good about a simplistic logo. It's obviously never going to be as big as Nike, but Nike just has a swoosh, and you see that swoosh and you know what it is. And it's like one of those things where like you see that chicken, it's just like, oh yeah, it's Chicken Cindy. This is Josh. He's crazy. But no, it's mildly entertaining to say the least for me. I have a good time with it. But I'm really hoping whoever does win those fenders will really enjoy them and put them to good use. So, but I still need to do some more clear coats to it. I have one hardtail with RockShox and I like it. There's not much of a difference in the feel. It's pretty much up to how you adjust the fork. Yeah, that makes sense. And when you get to the higher end ones, like the Ultimates and stuff, there is so much adjustment. It's crazy how like the different ways you can change it and the different ways you can make it to like your preference. It's very impressive. So Fox ones are better than the lower end RockShox. I believe that. I know, for instance, my when I had my RockShox Revelation, the very base one, I had 3 Bok Bok. How do you spell a chicken sound? Bok Bok. Is it BAWK? BAWK, maybe. I like the BOC Bok Bok. Oh goodness. This is why I married her, everybody. She's terrific. Fun fact. Gosh, that's funny. Bok bok. But no, my Revelation only had like 3 settings on the top of it, and you just put air in it. It was very simplistic, which was nice, but there was really no form of adjustment at all. And that's why I had that MRP ramp cartridge though, which that thing is cool. If you don't have an MRP ramp cartridge and you are kind of like fiddling with your tokens a lot, whether like adding a token or taking away a token in your front shock or your fork, it's cool. You just at the twist of a dial, you can add and take away tokens in smaller increments, and the thing's impressive. Where did peaches come from? I hear peaches come from a can, and they are put there by a man. Toby, if that's what you're truly wondering. Hey, what's going on? It's good to see you, Irie. But no, we're talking about all kinds of fun things today. We're talking about full suspension builds. We're talking about front forks, and if you prefer Fox or RockShox. We were talking about budget there for a little bit, and the budget question that I asked, which this is a fun question still, so I'd like to get some more input. If you've ever ran, for instance, a IXF crankset, which you can buy off of Amazon for $60, very, very reasonable price for external bearing bottom bracket. Fox, very quick answer, thank you. And I've never ran Fox, so I'd like to try Fox. So that's what I think I'm going to go with. And I found a really good deal on one, but I'm not partial. Gotcha. According to Google, chicken says cluck. I thought peaches just spawned in there. You just open a can and they're just magically there. It's like, ooh, peaches. But no. According to Google, it says cluck. I don't know. I prefer bok bok. I think chickens go bok bok, not cluck cluck. I wouldn't know. I'm just the chicken Cindy's guy. But so the question was, is it better to spend $60 on an IXF crankset or to spend an extra 50-ish for a name brand crankset? It's about double the price, but will you get a better crankset? And I was sharing earlier, I've heard some horror stories over IXF cranksets, and I've heard some stories over IXF cranksets lasting a couple years and then being terrific. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I have to head out. Hey, see you, Colin. Thank you so much for your input. It was fun. You take care. Apparently, we need to make a chicken with a peach now. No, we don't, Chasing Grace. There's no peaches. Bok bok. Oh, goodness. Hey, Vibe Sender, you just have an eye. I don't know if you meant to say something, but bok bok, Toby. Chickens. What do we think? What do chickens say? Do chickens go cluck cluck or do they go bok bok? That's what I wanted to talk about. Mountain biking, and we're talking about chickens. My crank falling apart after a drop. And one of the craziest breaks I've seen on an IXF crankset is where on the bottom of the crank arm, clock, cluck, bok, on the bottom of the crank arm where the pedal screws in, I've seen someone land and the pedal, instead of being flat, ended up being down. So it bent the axle of the actual pedal. Well, it didn't bend the pedal. It bent the inside of the crank arm. It like popped that out, the screw that screws into it, like broke it out. So, but also I believe that guy weighed a little bit more. But I mean, depending on the force, that you land on those, I mean, as they say in Forged in Fire, catastrophic failure. They don't say it will kill, or they do say it will kill you on accident, and nobody wants that. But no, for me personally, I think the extra money for the name brand parts is a safer bet. But sometimes production fails. I mean, sometimes something happens in production, and it's just I had that happen with the cheap cranks on my BMX. Yeah, and it's just you take some of these bikes off of 4, 5, 6 foot drops, for instance. And between me, I weigh about 165, 170 pounds, and you're laying using that much weight to land on a pedal. I mean, something bad could happen, and the last thing you want to get hurt, period. But especially you don't want to get hurt from your bike failing or a part failing because you thought it'd be okay to save money. I think contact parts are things you don't want to skimp on, but it's one of those things. It's again at the end of the day, it's what you can afford is the biggest thing. Pay for name brand. There's a point of diminished returns within a brand's lineup, though. You know what? Diminishing return is one of my favorite things to talk about. I love diminishing return. And the perfect example that I use is guitars, for instance. Okay. You get to a point on a really good guitar, you get to like the $1,000 to $2,000 range on a guitar, you're getting a very, very nice guitar. When you get to the above that price, like three, four, five, six, $7,000 guitars, it's no longer necessarily the quality of playing, but it's the quality that goes into the making, such as inlays and that type of wood and material and things like that. And the very same is true for bike riding. So that's a really good point, Cinder. It literally can be, again, like the RockShox compared to, the lower ones to the ultimates, you get to the point to where it's $300 to $400 really worth the difference. But also the cool thing about Fox and RockShox on the lower ends is if you want to spend the $400 to $500 on the entry or the more entry level fork, next year you could put another 200 into it to take it up to the level of an ultimate. So, but yeah, diminishing return is a very important thing, and it's very true as well. And it's something that you definitely need to think about. It's is the point value worth it? So feel the neck of guitar, feel of the neck. Yes, that's also true. For instance, for me, I don't like gloss necks. I hate gloss neck guitars. I want a matte finished guitar neck. I want it like a satin finish. I want the very smooth feeling. I feel like my fingers get sticky on the back of the actual glossy neck style. So that's it's a little things like that when you get up a little bit above. You can notice the difference between a $600 and $800 guitar compared to a $1,000 guitar. You can notice a difference, and it depends on if you want to spend that extra money. Oh, what Marley is talking to you, Fractured. I think she says it would be cool if we could do both and compare, contrast them to see what we feel the difference really is. Also, just pay attention to the intended purpose, like Fox forks. Some are more. Yes, that's also true, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. Vibe. That's a really good point. So, for instance, you have a dirt jumper frame where you'll see like a DJ Pike, for instance, and they're like, "Why does that Pike only have 100 millimeters of travel?" Well, it's because they want those stanchions super thick because of how much you're going to be, how high you're going to be going. Whereas, if you're just doing cross country race, 32, 34 millimeter stanchions, you're going to have a little bit of weight savings. You're not going to need that thick of a stanchion, so it's okay. But it's interesting because there are little like caveats, I would say. Some would even say they're niche when it comes to mountain biking that people miss. And, with me, I'm still pretty new to mountain biking, and there's still little things that I'm learning and continuing to go. So I'm glad you clarified as a guitar. I would have thought you meant a neck of a chicken. Let's go back up to what he said. Fill the neck in guitars. Fill the neck in chickens. Do you like your chicken neck plucked or feathered? You should get a hold of KFC and see what they say. So last night I was talking to Rich about this ride today, and he said it was going to be 18 to 20. 35. That's double. That's almost doubles. Oh goodness. It's all crossover now. I'm an XC Enduro rider, riding free rider. Do you have a fork for me? I don't. I don't, Cinder. Wow. A cross-country Enduro. I got lied to, Toby says. I don't know. Okay, so Cinder, for instance, since you are cross-country Enduro, that's a very interesting point. You know, because technically there's cross country, and then there's some people who do trail riding, and then they do the enduro. Oh, he says, I'm just joking. I was going to break it down, so let's dive into it. I don't got anything going on for a bit. Oh, goodness. Cross country enduro rider. I'm going to put you on a rigid Envy carbon fiber fork. I bet you can make it work. I believe in you. With the mullet, you get a 26-inch rim in the back and a 29er up front. That's your bike. That's your cross-country enduro. With a 150 millimeter travel rear suspension. I only ride park. Center. Oh, goodness. You guys are killing me tonight. I'm having fun. Oh, gosh. Oh, that's so funny. All right. Hey, everybody who's not been on, welcome to Chicken Cindy's Talk with Josh. We're having a good old time. I got my coffee, waiting for a 911 call to come in, and we're just chatting. Last time, look at my hair. You can tell I'm at work. Holy cow. Oh, one thing I really want to do is build an adult-sized tricycle with the full suspension. That would be cool. I live in, some would argue it's not southern, but it's south of Springfield in Illinois. I live in Illinois. Is it snow or nice weather? Right now, we're transitioning to spring, so it's nicer weather. We're getting a little bit of rain, but last week the trails were pretty nice. We got a little bit of rain over the week, so I'm hoping this week, if we don't get any more rain, they'll dry back up again. So I was able to get some real cool footage last week, though. So I'm excited to put some of that new footage up. But like I said, this week's video is me unboxing all the new drivetrain that will be going on my full suspension that I'm building. So Thursday, Sierra, that would be sick. It would be sick. Whew, I want a big old tricycle with full suspension. That definitely sounds like a, you rode Bloomington stuff? I have never been to Bloomington, actually. I have been to Kickapoo, which I think that's kind of close to Bloomington. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can pull up a map and check real quick. So, Cinder, where are you from then if you've been to Bloomington? Are you around Chicago then area or around that area, Missouri? Right? I've got a welder. So, you guys I love the fact that I'm having a conversation with Cinder and we got Toby and Sierra just having their own little conversation in the chat. That's awesome. What Frack should say. We were looking like spring last week. The nature slapped across the face. You know what? I'm expecting that. Call the doctor because that's sick. Oh, you guys are killing me. Yes, Chi-burbs. Gotcha. My wife has some family that lives over in the burbs as well. So, dun-duns. I'm going to have to kick my wife out of the chat, aren't I? I thought she'd be a moderator. Instead, she's just fueling the fire. Gasoline is what she is, isn't she? Oh, goodness. That's what happened when we went to Texas. Yep, gosh. Literally the week before we went to Texas, which Sierra can tell us about that because Sierra lives there. But the weather before we went to Texas, like literally days before, was like 60 and sunny. And literally the day we left is when all the crazy snow happened in Texas. It was absolutely crazy how that happened. And of course, everyone's like, you just brought it with you from Illinois. And it's like, we really wanted to leave it. But I'm hoping to get another trip to Bentonville here soon. But Jonathan, hey, what's up, Jonathan? How are you, man? It's good to see you on. But we were just kind of talking about the new build that I'm going to be doing on the channel. We got the new full suspension build coming up. Sunday shows 61 and no rain. Awesome. And I'm actually, after today, I'm off for 5 days. So I'm excited for that. But tomorrow I'm going to be busy. I have a background check tomorrow. So I'm hoping to, okay, fine. I'm hoping, I'm in the process of potentially switching jobs right now. So I have a background check tomorrow. So I'll be a little busy tomorrow. But the days after that, I should be good to go. So I'm really excited. And it depends on how busy my wife and I are, but we should have some pretty good time. So I don't think, do we? Hey, Marley, you're on here. Do we have anything planned this week? I don't think we do. So, hey, Cinder, you should add me on Instagram if you have one, chicken.cindy's, and maybe we can try to get together and ride sometime if you'd like to. I'd love to meet up. If you're pretty, maybe I can meet you in Bloomington and we can ride there sometime. So as I know, that's about a 3-hour drive for me. It's not too terrible. So, and I've heard they got some pretty good stuff. So hit me up. I love meeting new people to ride with. It's always fun. So, all right. What Frack should say. And yeah, if the world would go back to normal someday, we can travel again. More than happy to show you some trail back. I would love, correct me if I'm wrong, Fractured, but you live in Sweden, right? I think it's Sweden. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's there. But from the videos I've seen that you post, I definitely want to come out to you and ride some of your stuff. It looks awesome. Busy week, baby shower. Oh, hey, I'm free Friday, everybody. One of the benefits of having my wife on here, so she can tell me what's going on. She is my schedule. So Finland. Okay, Finland. Oh, I gotcha. But yeah, no, also, if any of you want to watch some cool footage, definitely check out Fractured's YouTube channel. He posts some cool downhill stuff. He's got some really neat parks. So one country up. I was close. I was close. But no, I would definitely, gosh, I got my passport. It's just aching to be used again. Last time I used it, I went to, where'd I go? Africa. I was in Africa 2 years ago. It's been a bit since I've traveled far, but that was a really cool trip. I loved going to Africa. That was awesome. But no, I would love to go just visit people that are on the YouTube. That'd be so cool. I think that'd be so fun. I still really want to go to Canada and ride up there too. That's kind of like a, you know, the long-term goal for me is to take a plane out there to go riding out there. But man, cool stuff, good stuff. Hit the hour mark. So I'm probably going to start winding down and putting this away. It's 9:30 for me, and I'll be up for call probably eventually. So new series coming soon. Visiting the Cinders. That would actually be so cool. I was supposed to go last year and COVID smacked me. Yeah, COVID. Gosh, guys. It is what it is over there. I've gotten a lot to do with that just because of my beautiful ambulance job, of course. So I've seen a lot of that. That is what it is, though. So I'll give it a couple more minutes, but I'm going to start wrapping up since it's been an hour. But thank you guys so much for joining. I have so much fun on these live feeds, and I didn't get to do one last week. I got a little busy, but I'm trying to. Why did my Siri just engage? Is that one of those? I'm like, hey, Alexa. But you're not supposed to say that on YouTube videos, so I won't say that. I just said it, but you know. Oh, that's funny. Well, do any of you have any questions for me before I get off here in a little bit? Whistler? Yes, Whistler, Marley. I want to go to Whistler, dear. You can come with me if you'd like, but we'll probably have 2 babies by the time I can go to. Speaking of tones dropping, there we go. It does that randomly. So here it is. Okay. Well, I am up for call now since they just got toned out. So, but thank you all so very much for joining. I go send it, but it's always a good time. It's always a fun time. But yeah, that new video will be up Thursday. Hit me up on Instagram if you guys have anything fun, anything to say, anything like that. You know, any ideas? I love it. I love hearing from y'all. But thank you so much for 500 subscribers. That's such a fun milestone. It's such a cool milestone. Halfway to 1,000. We're making progress. We're getting there. I don't have an end goal for anything, but we're just having fun and living the dream. So everyone have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Good morning for you, Fractured. See you, Cinder. Thanks for joining. But everybody have a good night. Take care.